Hey YouTube, Bearded Bristol back with something completely different. As you may or may not know, I vowed several years ago on YouTube to never get political. But that doesn't mean I won't take on the news from time to time, right? Here's hoping. I am a libertarian capitalist, which makes me a little more right-leaning than left, but also leaves just enough on the fringes of all sides for something for everyone to hate. That's me, also the common guy. There are a couple of news stories that jumped out at me this week that just had me almost laughing out loud, and I thought I would share some of those with you and why I think they are entertaining. The first of which happens to be the pro-Second Amendment rally in Richmond, Virginia this week. That happened on Martin Luther King Jr. Day, for any of you who were not paying attention, and it is a result of some proposals by Governor Ralph Northam to limit and restrict the purchase and ownership of guns. Now, depending on which source you listen to, many of them far right-leaning would have you believe that Virginia intends to take away all guns from all people. I can assure you that this is not the case, but that does not mean it is not a frightening first step towards such a thing, because, in the words of George Orwell, all animals are created equal, but some are more equal than others. That said, the government knows better than we do, because we just stupid folk out here. Nevertheless, there were approximately 6,000 to 20,000 people in attendance. That's right. The news reports, many of which after the fact stated around 6,000 people showed up to support the Second Amendment. The Associated Press reported 20,000 people during the event itself. I wasn't there. I've seen a few pictures. I did not count the little dots in those photos to find out just how many people were there. But the Associated Press did point out a couple of really fascinating things. One of which, and I apologize, I do have some notes here because I have a couple of direct quotes. This is about as legitimate as I can get. But one of which is from P.J. Hudson. I'll get to his details in just 1 second. I love this. This is like the Super Bowl for the Second Amendment right here. Mr. P.J. Hudson is a truck driver from Richmond who carries an AR-15 rifle just outside of Capitol Square. He was one of the few African-American rally-goers in a crowd that was overwhelmingly white, male, honky, and cracker, according to the Associated Press. Okay, the honky and cracker part maybe was not in print, but the rest of it sure was. I just found it ironic that the Associated Press felt it necessary to point out that there was a black man there who also happened to be wearing a Black Guns Matter sweatshirt. I'm not sure why the Associated Press needed to break down the demographics for us. Apparently black males, black people in general, are not supposed to support the Second Amendment or the Bill of Rights, the Constitution. I'm not sure what we're supposed to take from the inference there of one of the few African-American rally-goers. But what I can say is that gun restrictions and increased gun regulations tend to disproportionately affect an African-American community, because many of those concentrated African-American communities are in inner cities where there may or may not be a large amount of gang violence. And, we all know when you increase gun restrictions, those criminals pay attention. They no longer seek to purchase firearms legally or illegally if there are laws against it, because criminals care about the law too. Or not. Probably not. That's kind of where I was going with that, if you didn't pick up the sarcasm. That said, I will break down a couple of those regulations for you. There is proposed to be a limit to one handgun purchase per month, a requirement for universal background checks on gun sales, and a rule allowing localities to ban guns in some public areas. Also a proposal for a red flag law, which would allow authorities to temporarily take guns away from anyone deemed dangerous to themselves or others. This part is according to USA Today. Thank you, government, for protecting us from ourselves, because we, again, is idiots. Fortunately, though, Governor Northam was there to impose a state of emergency leading up to the rally, and thankfully so, because they did arrest one person, a female, for wearing a mask in public, which is a felony. Apparently it was a laser mask that shot lasers out of the eyes. No, it wasn't, but that would have been pretty cool. It's a little frightening. Again, nobody is going to take away the guns of law-abiding Virginia citizens yet. But it is eerily reminiscent of the scene from Jurassic Park where the velociraptors are testing the electric fence for faults. Once they find that fault, they will pour through the hole. That's just one of the stories that caught my interest this week. The second of which happened to be Mr. John Cusack, the Hollywood actor extraordinaire. So extraordinary, he plays the same role in every film. Nevertheless, he is apparently a very hardcore Bernie Statler follower and promoter. I'm sorry, did I say Statler? I apologize for that. If you don't remember, Statler and Waldorf were the two old guys that sat in the balcony of the Muppets. Bernie Sanders is my Muppet candidate of choice, but he does remind me a great deal of Statler from the Muppets. That said, John Cusack had some very sage words for those of us in moron land. Some of those were, again, according to USA Today, I apologize, I have a lot of sources. I really, really do, but USA Today just had some really gold nuggets this week that I just couldn't resist. John Cusack rallied against predatory capitalism, which, quote, takes our lives, our labor, our spirit, our air and water, even our earth. Bernie respects us enough to tell the truth, the hard truth, that we have 10 to 12 year window to radically transform our energy systems or climate change. Predatory capitalism and endless war economies will rob us the right to any future at all. So that's John Cusack in his latest movie, 2012, which debuted in 2009. Which also happened to be about predatory capitalism ending the world in some sort of global warming catastrophe, floods, lots of people dying, cats and dogs living together, mass hysteria. John Cusack, really? Predatory capitalism? Is this the same predatory capitalism that paid you for your mini movies of playing the exact same character? If it wasn't for Nicolas Cage, you would be able to hold the monolith for same character, same movie, same whatever. What the hell? You played a brooding Bernie Sanders supporter today. You played a brooding father in 2012, a brooding hitman in Grosse Point Blank, a brooding teenager in Better Off Dead, which I love. And it's just kind of your mojo. High fidelity, pretty brooding. Just saying. All of your best movies are you playing you, which again, very endearing in a Hollywood sense, not very endearing in I am a political science anything. You are just a people. You just happen to have a louder microphone than most because of, guess what? The same predatory capitalism that you are now rallying against. Thank you very much. Which, by the way, also reminds us all we are on the precipice of the Hollywood award seasons. Sigh. Self-aggrandizing celebrities are self-aggrandizing. I could give a rat's patootie what celebrities think of themselves or the journalists that write about celebrities think of them. Awards shows in general are like most awards. You have to first apply to be eligible, and the candidate pool is generally pretty small. I apologize if you have not won more than one award or been nominated for more than one award. If you are in the Hollywoods, welcome to the land of regular people. Except regular people generally know how to keep their yap shut and not try to tell everyone else how to live. This, folks, is why I drink. So that's to you, YouTube. I realize my opinion doesn't mean squat. I am just a common man. But like you, I have opinions too, and be damned. If John Cusack can tell you the world's ending, why can't I tell you that it's not? So until next time, YouTube, this is Bearded Bristol, and this is why I drink. We'll talk to you later.